edit it later, right? Like we do on the show.
We're rolling.
You good?
Yep.
Yeah, seriously, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. And you know what? We got a nice private little function going on down here at Lobinger's. This is going to be shared with Mount Pleasant. Thank you for making me the 6th mayor of Mount Pleasant. I am truly honored and humbled. This is the best. This is the coolest thing, best thing I've ever done. Nothing will top this. You know, for the last 7.5 years, behind me up in the chambers, there's a picture of Eats, who was our first mayor, Patoka, and then Jerry Lucia. I always refer to those as the three wise men, which always got a chuckle out of Jerry Lucia. And you know what? Speaking of Jerry Lucia, there will never be a better mayor than Jerry Lucia was. I'm going to do my best, and I promise you, like on my best day, I'm only going to get close to Jerry, and I mean that with nothing but 100% from here and here. He's missed, you know, so I just wanted to get that out there. And just, there's a lot of people I want to thank. I want to thank everybody that came tonight. And there's some that already left. We're having a good time. Seriously, thank you guys for coming out. Everyone, I mean, and there's a lot of other people I want to thank. And just, obviously, and my mother couldn't be here tonight. Yeah, she's doing better for everyone that asked. Thanks for the prayers. And my sister and them, they already left. The kids got to get to bed for school. So, we always got to thank your family. And obviously, I got the best friends in the world. I got Murraysville, Penn Hills, Uniontown that came out to be a part of this night. And, thank you so much for that. You know what? I could go on, and I do want to touch on some things, but I'm going to do my best to make it short, but but get as many things in. We're going to just try to focus on the political world of my life, and that goes back to a guy by the name of Steve Russell, rest in peace, that got me involved in this stuff more than 20 years ago. And then from there, Frank Cravella got me involved with working elections as an inspector of elections, and then judge. From there, Jack Caruso calls me up one day, and he's like, hey, we need you on council. So, the rest is history from there, especially after Jerry Lucia reached out to me and said, hey, Ken, are you going to get on council? And then when Jerry asked me to get on council, I knew it was time for me to get on council, right? So, what, like I said, all those people and friends, family, and if I'm missing anyone, I apologize. It's just, this is kind of spur of the moment. And you know what, speaking of spur of the moment, just something I want to touch on. A lot lately, for whatever reason, we have to keep hearing about anytime these people come to Mount Pleasant or they're from Mount Pleasant, they know culture is alive and well in Mount Pleasant, and culture is great in Mount Pleasant. So for those that think otherwise, I want to educate you on a few things real quick. When I think about the culture of Mount Pleasant and around Halloween, I think of Val from Val's Family Salon on the corner of Washington and Diamond Street, and D of Stuck Up Graphics. Every year they paint the town pink and raise money for Glimmer of Hope. So for these people out there, when you talk about the culture of Mount Pleasant, don't forget that. That's important. And also, I mentioned a lot of these names I mentioned, like Jerry Lucia, like Eats, Patoka. I could go on and on. Guys like Mark Kreisinger, that gave his whole life to the fire department. I could keep going on. And there's some other ones that I want to thank real quick, that like Jeff Landy and John Regacki. When I first got on council, those guys, they went out of their way. John Regacki, Ken, you need to get on PSAB. And I wish John was here to see. I'm vice president for Westmoreland County. And as long as Andy Pinsky's president, I will never take that position, because like some of these names I mentioned, I have that much respect for that person, as well as second vice president in Somerset, who I want to congratulate, Fred Rosemeyer of Somerset Borough, and Mike Thomas of Winburn. Those guys, like Jerry and some of these, like John Regacki and Jeff Landy, have been great mentors to me. So just wanted to thank those guys. And also, back to the culture of Mount Pleasant, I could go on and on. Past and present, go read up on guys like Joe White. Come to town to talk to Rick Meeson. Or you know what, we're in Lobinger's, and just because we can't see him, I know Mr. Lobinger's perched up at the bar somewhere, and Jake's pacing around behind the bar, and they got a grin on their face because of what happened tonight. So those guys, those are two more guys that are missed, and that's why I wanted to do this here at Lobinger's. When I was asked if I'm going to do something, I want to do something small with the people that are close, and also it's got to be at Lobinger's, because those that know me and they know Mount Pleasant, this was the only place to do it. Lobinger's, people come, they come 100 miles out of their way to get a pizza that John and Sue, here at Lobinger's. They've done a great job at picking up where, you know, Mr. Lobinger and everyone left off. So, you know, and not just, they don't come to town just for Lobinger's. I know people that come just for the same for the village. You know, the Rega family has always done a fantastic job up there, and they'll get a steak or whatever for the filling station next door. And, you know, or even like this guy here, when I got him out for walks, you know, Heidi Golasek and Mama Pepinos runs to the curb to give him pepperoni. So when you talk about the culture of Mount Pleasant, don't forget those things, because that's the real culture of Mount Pleasant. It's going to be a good 4 year, folks. Let's do it.